So without any further ado, I want to get started. If I could ask Rachel Turner to come up and join me on stage while I give you a little background on Rachel. She's really excited about standing up here in front of everybody, too. I told her she'd have to keep her speech to about 20 minutes when she's done. Okay? Last year, the Sheriff's Department received a call from a distraught mother in Florida. She explained her 14-year-old daughter had just disclosed to her that she'd been raped 9 years before when she lived in Vista. The only identifying information she could provide was the name John and a physical description. Although good detective work identified the suspect as John Gow, there was no physical evidence, nor were there any corroborating witnesses in this matter. One possible way to solve this case was to make a pretext telephone call from the victim to Gow. Understandably, the victim in this matter was apprehensive about speaking to their assailant, even over the telephone. Conversation with the district attorney's office developed a plan to use another teenager to make the call. Rachel Turner, a 16-year-old daughter of Sheriff's Lieutenant Hank Turner and his wife Karen, who are both with us here today. Rachel has a keen interest in law and aspires to maybe be an attorney or an FBI agent when she grows up. When approached about this situation, Rachel didn't hesitate and was eager to learn how she could help. Rachel was briefed by the investigating detective and then spoke telephonically with the victim. Soon thereafter, Rachel called Gow, posing as a victim from years before. They spoke for about 25 minutes, and Rachel did an excellent job conversing with Gow. She was quick on her feet and was able to elicit a full, tearful confession from the suspect. He admitted to molesting the victim on multiple occasions and apologized for his actions. Gow went on to express remorse and admitted that he knew he had done wrong. Thereafter, Rachel called the victim and explained what had happened during her conversation with Gow. During these discussions, the victim came to understand the importance of coming forward and the potential for saving other people from becoming victims. John Gow was subsequently arrested and denied all allegations. After learning of the pretext call made by Rachel, he ultimately pled guilty to multiple counts of child molestation. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison with the requirement that he register as a sex offender for life for assaulting our victim when she was only 5 years old. It is not an exaggeration to say that this prosecution would not have happened had it not been for Rachel Turner. Her quick thinking, maturity, and passion for justice ensured a dangerous sex offender is in prison where he will be unable to hurt any other children. Rachel, thank you for taking this mission on, helping another person in need, and it's my pleasure to recognize you of Rotary Club's one of the heroes of 2010. Congratulations. Our next hero, Sharrel Blankenbaker, a 63-year-old wife, mother, and grandmother from Felt, Oklahoma, who was fatally shot by a stranger who was trying to abduct her 12-year-old granddaughter from an Amarillo truck stop last summer. This violent act occurred in front of her 3 grandchildren. Earlier in the day, Sharrel had picked up her 2 grandchildren, Cassidy and Dylan, who were visiting from San Diego. Cassidy and Dylan, could you come up here and join me? You're not going to get off the hook that easy. They were driving home from the airport with another 5-year-old grandchild and decided to make a stop for snacks at a Love's truck stop. Unbeknownst to them, Gary Don Carter was on a kidnapping rampage. Shortly before, at approximately 8:55 p.m., he tried to abduct a 31-year-old woman from another Amarillo convenience store. He ordered her into his pickup truck at gunpoint, but she escaped. 10 minutes later, at Love's truck stop, Garner spotted Cassidy, and with a gun at her hip, tried to pull her into his truck. At this point, Dylan grabbed his 5-year-old cousin and ran him to safety inside the building. Back in the parking lot, Sharrel didn't think twice. She stepped between Cassidy and Garner, yelling for Cassidy to run and shoving Garner. Cassidy was able to twist away and run to Dylan, who had come back to help his sister and grandmother. Sharrel kept shoving Carner and yelling for him to leave. Her selfless act to save her granddaughter led to her fatal shooting. After his attempt to kidnap Cassidy was foiled, Garner sped away. 5 minutes later, he spotted two 11-year-old girls walking along a rural road. He forced one into his truck and drove off while the other one scrambled to get help. At 9:24, a deputy spotted Carner's vehicle and started to follow him, waiting for backup. The truck made a slow turn and the 11-year-old hostage jumped out and ran to safety in a ditch. Deputies made a stop and Carner started shooting. The deputies returned fire and Carner died at the scene. During the ensuing frenzy of media attention, one of the news agencies appropriately quoted F. Scott Fitzgerald, "Show me a hero and I'll write you a tragedy." Cassidy and Dylan Blankenbaker are the children of Barbara and Damon Blankenbaker. Damon's a sergeant with our department, which makes the senseless murder of his mother even more heartfelt. Cassidy and Dylan have been strong advocates not only for their grandmother's legacy, but for victims of crimes to know that they are not alone with the inevitable emotional consequences. Their candor and openness are teachings from which we all can benefit. Today we pay tribute to the heroic actions of the memory of Sharrel Blankenbaker. Cassidy and Dylan, it's an honor and a privilege to give you and your grandmother San Diego 2010 Heroes Award.